everyone. Good morning and good evening. So let's explore Amazon AWS cloud platform. So for exploring Amazon AWS cloud platform, we need some basic understanding of cloud. So let's start from a basic of clouds. What is cloud? Why it is needed? And then we'll go Amazon AWS cloud platform services one by one. So let's understand cloud fundamentals. What is cloud? Okay. So here you have heard a many time a term cloud computing. So let's understand what is cloud computing. So practice of renting resources which is hosted at a remote data center or cloud and accessed through internet and managed by the cloud service provider is known as cloud computing. The meaning is that you are not using your own data center for a resources or running an application on the resources. You are renting it out and then you are running your application, installing your software. So all these things that is required for building an application, you are doing on cloud. You are doing on someone else's data center. And that is known as cloud computing. And the resources, whenever I'm referring to resource, data storage, computing power of the server, what is the RAM, what is the CPU, and the software, what are software you are going to use to develop your application, what is the networking part, that actually the network, and then development of tools. What all development tools you are going to use to develop your application. So whenever you are renting the resources and then you start building your application, so that is known as a cloud computing. And for renting the resources, you are paying it on the basis of their service model. Either how much you have used it, according to that you are paying to them, or there is a monthly payments that you are paying to the service provider. So that is known as a cloud computing. So let's understand what is on-premise computing then. So practice of building data center in on-premises, okay, managing it with own IT and infra team or security team, and using it is known as on-premise computing. So when we are saying that on-premise computing, so when we build our own data center in a physical location on premises, where actually you have kept your IT team, security team, network team, and there is a development team. Everybody is working for their making a ready infrastructure for your application development. And that infrastructure you are building in your own premises, you are investing upfront cost for all these resources. And then you are going for your application development and deployment. So in that case, you are going to use your own data center. Okay, you are building your own data center. So that is, and you are executing your application or developing your application on your own data center. So that is known as on-premise computing. You are not going to rent it out from someone else. So that is your on-premise computing. You are doing all your computation on on-premise. So let's understand why cloud computing required. Why not we can go for the on-premise computation? Why not we can build our own data center? So till now, you have seen the data center, each company has their own data center, right? And when the cloud came into picture, so after that, people started moving from their own data center to cloud data center, because managing their own data center, it's difficult. It might be you are paying more money, investing more money for your infrastructure, right? So you are just renting it out, and they are using their someone else data center, and you are performing your work, you are doing your work, you are doing your development, building your application, and you are using it, and for that you are paying some amount to the service provider. So let me draw here a simple diagram. So suppose there are two data center. This is on-premise data center. This is your data center. So there is a on-premise data center and there is a cloud data center. So what a data center contains, what all components, main components it has with the data center, right? And you will also see what is the limitation that you have in on-premise, and how the people is, and why the people is moving from on-premise to cloud. So let's understand the reason behind it, and then we will understand the concept. So whenever I'm referring a data center, sorry, the meaning is that it's consist of computing power, and this computing power might be your CPU, and according to your requirement, okay, and then data storage. After that, data storage, we are using software, working, and dev tools. So let me change the font here. Okay. So if I am going to build my own data center on my premises, right? So what I need to do, I need to purchase the computing power. It means the CPU, RAM, data storage, where actually I will store the data, and then I will going to install some software. Then I'm going to do the networking, and then I'm going to install some development tools, and by using that development tools, I'm going to develop the application. So suppose coming up to the development tools, right? And then you are going to application development. This is the last part, last task here. You are going for the application development. And before that, whatever is needed, that company has to bear, the organization has to bear, and they have to manage, maintain, and each and every need to take care by organization. And then only the application development will be started. Then your developer will start working. Before the developer will start working on the system, you need the CPU, RAM, there's data storage. This is your IT team will configure all these servers on these resources. Then you need to identify what all software is needed. So software need to be installed by the basis team. There will the networking and security team would be there. They will ensure that this resources is secured, how they can secure the resources. And then some development tools is required for developing your application. So that, and then developer will work on your data center. So these many things need to be done upfront, right? First of all, you have to invest all this amount in this category, and then you can start for your application development if you are using on-premise data center. The same thing, you can rent it out as well. Whatever it's needed, you can rent it out from here, from cloud. So there are many cloud service provider available, mainly actually the Amazon, Microsoft, IBM. So they are a cloud service provider. They can provide you the CPU, RAM, data storage, software, networking, development tools, and application. Even the application also they can provide to you. So depending on your requirement, you can go for the infrastructure or you can go for your software as well. And there is a networking, development tools, all this component you can rent it out on cloud, and you can access it through internet. So suppose you have to develop one application, so you don't have to start from scratch here, right? Just actually you need to assign a contract with the data cloud service provider, and they will, according to your agreement, they will provide all these things. And now your work is that only do the application development, or even if you want that ready-made application to be used, the cloud service provider, they can provide you a ready-made application as well. So here you are not going to pay upfront cost. It means you are not going to pay the cost for the resources right now. They are paying the cost of the resources, whatever you are using, and how much time you are using, that only you are paying to the cloud service provider. So one thing here in on-premise, I see there is a concern of cost, and that is upfront cost. You are investing a lot of cost here upfront, and then you are going for the development. Here you can pay it a monthly, or whatever the uses you are doing, accordingly you can pay it and you can start your development. So according to the time and cost, cloud, taking resources from cloud and working on that is the cheaper than the resources you are building on your on-premise. So this is one concern that actually the people is moving to the cloud. The another concern is that on-demand availability of computer resources. So just and that is not a one-day work. That is a time-consuming task. It takes 1 month, 15 days to do all these things. But that you can do in a cloud in a minute. whatever the resources you need, you can get it in a minute on the cloud. And for that, actually, you have to pay. So you can scale your computing power anytime, whenever you required on the cloud data center. And but here it is difficult to scale it. So there are two types of scaling. So scaling it up and scaling it down, right? Suppose today I need a more computing power, so I went for I scale my computing power for more resources. But tomorrow again, it might happen that the season has been changed and now there are very less customer for my application they are using. So at that point of time, I can scale my computing power or storage down as well. And that also you can do in a minute. And if you are scaling it down, so whatever resources you are not going to use now, you don't have to pay for that as well. So is it not easy? It is very easy to scale it up and scale it down. And another point is easy to scale globally. Okay, so suppose your customer is in India, right? So many customers available in India, your application is extensively used in India. Tomorrow, some other country started using your application. So it might happen that there is a access issue. It means there is it will take more time. The person who is using your application from India, because suppose your data center is in India, right? So they will get a faster access for your application. But the person who is living in other country and that is very far from India, they might take some more time to access your application. It means they will face some performance issues. And that for that reason, you have to scale your data center from one country to another country. So another country people can also utilize the same, also utilize your application in the same manner as Indian people is utilizing it. They will also get the same performance. So for doing that, you need to build a data center in another country. And again, you have to go with the compliance with the other country, and you have to build a physically a server there. And that is again the cost is coming into picture. You have to invest a huge cost there. Okay. But in a cloud data center, if you are using cloud, you can build a data center in any of the country, any of the region in a minute, and you can deploy your application there. So in that way, this is very flexible. It can easy to scale globally. Overall cost reduction. So actually, by using the cloud, we can reduce the cost. Okay. So we are not paying here any upfront cost, right? Whatever we are utilizing, accordingly we are paying to the to cloud service provider. So there is a less upfront cost. So here actually there is a less upfront cost you are investing. And there is a disaster and backup plan. So if you are using your on-premise data center, you should have your own disaster and backup plan need to be implemented. But if you are using a cloud data center, all this disaster and backup plan will be managed by a cloud service provider. So you don't have to take care about that. So there are many regions available, and in each of the geographical region, they have a data center and they have the availability zone. So this thing I will data center and availability zone, I will explain in a later videos. Okay. High availability with low latency, that I explained earlier. that the person, your data center is in India, so the person who is using your application from India, they will get a better performance than the person who is accessing the same application from other country, because this is the distance matters, right? And that's the reason actually availability with low latency. Okay, so low latency means there is a low access time. It means accessing time has been reduced. Okay, so if you are using on cloud, you can build one data center on another country, so they will also get a low latency. They will also get the better performance. Okay, and the high availability, because actually they have a different data centers and there is a different availability zones available on the cloud. So if one data center got crashed, they will move your application and move all the data from one data center to another data center, and that will happen immediately. So you don't have to take care about that. So these all things will be taken care by a cloud service provider. So this is a fundamental for a cloud. What is cloud? What is cloud computing? On-premise computing? Why actually people are going from on-premise data center to the cloud data center? So definitely a day will come when everybody has to go to a cloud data center. The reason is that whatever the new technologies will come will be available on cloud, and your competitor will also be there on cloud only. So communication issues, or there is a time accessing time problem, so that will come if you will be still on premise. So after some time, you will see most of the organization will move from on-premise to a cloud data center. But still there would be some exception related to the security, and like a defense project, or there is a banking project. So still they prefer that to be on premise, because that is a very critical information or data they have. They don't want to give their control to the cloud infrastructure. So in that case, there still will be the exception. Some organization will still be there on premise, and that only one reason, due to the security. But cloud also provides there, you can build your own private cloud, but still that will be managed by the infrastructure. Everything will be provided by physical spaces, will be provided by the cloud provider only. So still some organizations who has a very critical informations, they need to think about whenever they are moving from on-premise to cloud. So for them also there is an option that they can go for the hybrid cloud, right? So I will explain in a next video what is how many types of clouds are there. What is the private cloud? What is the public cloud? What is the hybrid cloud? So for the security concern, they can move in a two ways. Actually, they can go for a hybrid cloud, and in hybrid cloud, they can keep their own information that is very critical information. They can keep it on premise, and they can keep their application that is not that is need to be accessed by publicly, so they can put it on the cloud, so they can reduce the cost there. So they can go for the hybrid or multi-cloud option as well. So it's completely depends on the organization how they are going to handle their customer data or the critical data, you can say. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any question related to the cloud fundamental, comment it. I will try my best to reply it. So thank you very much. See you again in the next video.